Tim, this is not the first time that Donald Trump has brought up this ridiculous notion of a third term. But last month, he also told Time magazine that wasn't a consideration. What's going on here? What should we believe? I can't even believe it.
Well, you know, I think he's trying to be...
As it came out of my mouth, I'm like, what?
Oh my
yeah.
I think he's trying to be cute, Stephanie. I think he's trying to be funny, but like, it's not funny. And we've been down this road. You know, your viewers know this, you know this, but it's just worth saying that there was a big time in the lead up to the 2020 election where there were many of us, left's never Trumpers and journalists, who are saying we should be concerned about the fact that Donald Trump won't say that he's going to accept the results of this election if he loses. And then he did these little games about, oh, maybe I'll accept it. I'll accept it if it's good. I'll accept it if I win. And we all saw where that led. People really bought into his lies. They bought into his BS. He might have been, you know, somewhat tongue in cheek, but they were taking him very seriously, and they ended up storming the Capitol as a result. So I think that's pretty much what's going on here. He thinks that he's in on some big joke, but unfortunately, it's really serious business.
Guess who might not accept election results? Guess who else? Marco Rubio. I want to share his appearance on Meet the Press yesterday when he was asked about this very thing.
Will you accept the election results of 2024 no matter what happens, Senator?
No matter what happens? No, if it's an unfair election, I think it's going to be contested by either side.
Senator, no matter who wins.
I think you're asking the wrong person. The Democrats are the ones that have opposed every Republican victory since 2000. Every single one. It's Hillary Clinton.
No Democrat has refused to concede. Hillary Clinton conceded.
Yeah, boy. What you make of it? I will tell you, Senator Mitt Romney kind of tried to make that argument to me, like, well, Democrats haven't accepted election results. I'm like, I'm sorry, when?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Hillary conceded on election night. I mean, I wasn't so psyched about it, but Hillary conceded on election night. She gave a concession speech the next day. No Democrats were illegally organizing efforts to decertify votes and overturn the election. But what is so disturbing about it is watching Marco Rubio, who you know, he practiced for this moment, right? He wanted to make sure he had all the examples of when Jim Clyburn stood up to object to, you know, something in the 2004 election to impress Donald Trump, and because he wants to be the running mate. And why? I could normally understand why people want to be, why they're doing what they're doing, but why he would want to be the running mate and actually maybe even have to be Trump's vice president. Like, I really can't fathom.
Little Marco wants to be next to the big man, and Little Marco is Donald Trump's nickname for him, certainly not mine. Tim, something that I know caught your attention this weekend. In that speech at the NRA, Donald Trump said he wants to roll back a number of the gun provisions, the gun rules that were put in place during the Biden administration. Hugely popular ones.
Yeah, look, this is just bad politics and bad policy together. You know, if anything, the Biden, you know, bipartisan gun bill was probably, you know, didn't go far enough. You know, it was good that they achieved some things that people have been trying to do for a long time. Common sense gun reform. You know, the gun show loophole was closed. I grew up about a mile from Columbine. I remember there was a lot of discussion around closing the gun show loophole because that's how those kids got guns 20 some odd years ago. And so it takes a long time. And so that's a good accomplishment for President Biden. But it wasn't like, you know, that he passed some gun grabbing anti-Second Amendment bill. These are very popular bipartisan 80-90% issues. Things like making sure it's harder for kids under 21 to get guns, banning straw purchasing, make it easier to put criminals in jail if they're selling guns across state lines. Like, these are the kinds of things that basically everybody is for, except for, you know, extreme gun rights wackos. And Donald Trump wants to repeal all of that. So I think that's horrible politics. Obviously, it's bad policy. Trump in the past, you know, has tried to kind of play it both ways on these cultural issues. And I do think this is a big vulnerability for him this year, that on abortion, on gun rights, on immigration, he's all in with the most extreme parts of the party.
Jen, Trump is holding a rally this week in the Bronx. Yeah. The Bronx, instead of a state that he actually has a chance of winning. Is that just proof that this campaigning isn't about campaigning? it's about fundraising for him, because what's the point of spending your time and money in the Bronx?
I mean, I think, yeah, sometimes it's just not that complicated with Trump. You know, he's distracted, right? I mean, I don't know if so he's not going to battleground states. He's focused on a New York trial. Does he think that going to the Bronx might somehow impact the jury if the jury sees a lot of support for him there? I'm not sure, but I think, you know,
he could say, oh, well, I can't go far. He can get to PA.
You can go to Pennsylvania
really in an hour.
And a couple of weeks ago, he went to the Jersey Shore, and the press were saying, well, you know, it's the Philadelphia media market. It's like, or he could go to Philadelphia. You know, it's not good that he's actually not going to these battleground states. And I mean, depending on how the Bronx goes, it could come back with some compelling photos and compelling images. But I think this feels like this is more about the trial. This is about raising money than it is about campaigning.
Tim, you heard the polling conversation we had in that last segment. What's your take?
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they're right. I agreed with Professor Savado's point about how the media should care more about democracy than following all the polls. But I don't know. I get a little bit PTSD. Back when I was on the other side, back when I was a Republican, Jen will remember this, in 2012, I was at the RNC during the Romney-Obama election, and pretty much everybody around me was saying the polls are skewed, the polls are bad. And I was the guy in meetings going, I don't think so. I think the polls are right. And I think we should take them seriously and adjust our strategy. And, you know, we all saw the result. The polls were right. President Obama won. So, maybe the polls are wrong, but it's not just the New York Times poll. Every single poll of Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona since March has had Donald Trump ahead. That's alarming to me. And I think we should take that very seriously, even if the criticisms of them are accurate.